Lesson 1.8, the coordinate plane and scatter plots. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, this is the origin, this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. The x-axis and the y-axis are a horizontal and vertical line that cross at the origin. They make the coordinate plane, which is separated into 4 sections called quadrants. And you know that quad is the prefix that means 4, like quadrilateral. Points are located on the coordinate plane in an organized manner. First by going along the x-axis, left to right, then by going along the y-axis, so up or down. The point 3, 2 is located by moving 3 units to the right, then 2 units up. The point -4, 3 is located by moving 4 units to the left, then 3 units up. Right and up are both positive. If you think about that on the number line, going to the right would be positive or going up would be positive. Left and down are negative. Going to the left on a number line from 0 is negative, and going down is negative. Here is a picture of a coordinate plane, x-axis, y-axis, origin, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Please notice the quadrants are written in Roman numerals, not in Arabic like we write regular numbers. We're going to list the coordinates of the points that I've written on this plane and the quadrant in which it's in. Point A is located right here. It would be at -6, 6, and it is in quadrant 2. Point B is located right here, -2, 2, also in quadrant 2. Point C, we don't move left or right. We just go up 4 spaces. So it would be 0, 4, and it's not in a quadrant, it's on the y-axis. D is located at 5, 6. It's in quadrant 1. E is located at 4, 1, also in quadrant 1. Point F is located at -5, 0, because once we get there we don't go up or down, and it's on the x-axis, not in a quadrant. Point G is located at -5, -2. It's in quadrant 3. Point H is located at 0, -3. Because we don't go left or right, we're just going down. And it's not in a quadrant, it's on the y-axis. Point I is located at 2, -5. It's in quadrant 4. And point J is located at 6, -2, also in quadrant 4. An easy way to remember how to label the quadrants is to think of a C for coordinate plane. And they're labeled the same way you would write a letter C. So you start the C in this quadrant. So it's quadrant 1. Then you would move to the left. So here's quadrant 2. Then you would move down. So here's quadrant 3. And finally you'd end up over here in quadrant 4. It is not clockwise. We do almost everything clockwise, but the coordinate plane was made up before we had clocks. Here's the section on scatter plots. The point of this is for you to be able to identify scatter plots. Scatter plots use quadrant 1 to display data. It shows if the data have any correlation between them. So, you know relations, you have relations, they're your relatives, your parents, your grandparents, your cousins. Correlated means there's something between them. So it's a relationship if they have a relationship between the two things we're talking about. Here are some examples. Your shoe size and your hair color. Does your shoe size determine what your hair color is? Is there any relationship at all? No. There is no correlation between your shoe size and your hair color. What about driving over the speed limit and getting a ticket? Do you think the faster you go over the speed limit, the more likely you are to get a ticket? Yes, unfortunately, that is true. Actually, fortunately, that is true, so we don't have a bunch of crazy drivers out there. That's a positive correlation because they both go together. The faster you drive, the more you'll get a ticket. How about the number of cars on the freeway and how fast you can drive? If there aren't very many cars on the freeway, you can drive fast and maybe get a ticket. But if there are a lot of cars on the freeway, you're stuck going, you're bumper to bumper. You're not moving very fast at all. So as one goes up, the number of cars on the freeway, the other goes down, your speed. So it has what's called a negative correlation. Here are the types of scatter plots, and they're in quadrant 1. This is what they look like. If you have, here's our miles over the speed limit. As this increases, the number of tickets as this increases. Your points are going upward together. So that's a positive correlation. There's no line connecting all these points, but in general, they go upward, so they have a positive correlation. Here's the number of cars on the freeway. As that gets bigger, here's the speed you can drive. Okay? So as the number, if there aren't very many cars on the freeway, you can go pretty fast. But as the number of cars increase, you can't go very fast. Okay? So as one goes up, the other goes down. So if the points in general go downward, that's a negative correlation. Here's your shoe size and your hair color. The points are all over the place. There's no correlation. So what I want you to be able to tell me is if you see a graph like this, that's a positive correlation because both go up together. If you see a graph like this, that's a negative correlation because as one goes up, the other goes down. And if you see a graph like this with points scattered all over the place, that's no correlation. That's it.